So what we're actually going to do with this course, we are going to build a full mobile responsive WordPress website from scratch. If you don't know what a WordPress website is, that's fine. If you don't know what mobile responsive means, that's fine. Hopefully you know what a website is, but even if you don't, also fine. WordPress is a system that powers almost half the websites currently on the internet. So every other website that you go to today is likely to be powered by WordPress. And that is the reason that we're going to use it. In posh terms, WordPress is a CMS. It's a content management system. And what that means is that if you're clever with it and understand the power of WordPress, which you will do, so I'm going to teach you, you can very easily scale your website using the power of WordPress. And what I mean by scaling is if you want to add a new member of staff, for example, if you don't know what you're doing with WordPress, that's a really tricky thing. If you do know what you're doing, it would take about 30 seconds to add that new member of staff portfolio to everywhere on your website that it needs to show up in one place. You don't have to go through and manually add it. You simply add it in the right place in the back end, which is the bit you can see when you're logged in, and it will pop up everywhere that you want it to pop up. Okay. So WordPress essentially is a way to build websites so that the front end, which is the nice snazzy looking bit, can be built without needing to know how to hand code a website. And back end, which is the bit that does the heavy lifting, where all the data is stored and all the personal information is securely processed, sit and speak together. Okay. So if you went to a massive, huge web design agency, potentially they would build a system from scratch, bespoke for you. I don't see the point of doing that when WordPress already does it for half the websites on the internet. My personal opinion, you might have a different one, but it powers almost half the websites that you've got to go onto today. To put that into perspective, the likes of Wix and Squarespace and all that, their market share currently of the internet is around 2 to 3%. Yeah. So WordPress is huge and powers most of the internet. Okay. The famous alternatives power 2 or 3% of it. So WordPress is the market leader, and that's why we're using that platform for this video. I'm not going to practice this build. We're going to work it all out together. I've designed it. I'll come up with the site plan and everything else, and I've got all that ready, but I've not sat down and built the site ahead of when we're going to build it. So we're going to do it together. We're going to hit stumbling blocks along the way and think, what's going to be the best way to do that? And you're going to see me figure out how I would do it if I was building this for a client. Number one rule in web design is that Google is your friend. It doesn't have to be Google. You could ask Jeeves if you really want to. But there is no shame in needing to Google the solution to an issue you're having in WordPress or web design or anything like it. What you need to learn is how to Google. And again, we're going to cover that. You need to know the names of things. If you're a beginner, it can be really daunting because you have in your head an idea that there must be a way to do this, but you don't know what it's called. And if you don't know what it's called, it's very easy to fall down a rabbit hole. You won't want to ask because you might get laughed at or something like that. Nothing happens here. We're in a shed. I choose to operate from my garden shed. So this is a safe space. Ask any questions you want to ask them in the weekly Zoom call, ask them on Facebook, message me. No one's going to laugh at you, okay? Because at some point I didn't know the answer to whatever question you're going to ask, and I had to find it out myself. The joy of this course is I've already figured it out, and if I haven't figured it out for myself, I'll help you figure it out. The Shed of Design is here on hand to help you learn how to do what I do without having to spend as much time as I did. So lean on me, lean on Google, lean on the support structure in place, okay? And you are going to end up with a beautiful WordPress website that will be open source. If you want to change hosting companies in the future, you can do. You're not tied into Shopify or some weird system that the local web designer's built himself in his garage and he makes everyone use that no one else can touch. It's a industry leading system using industry leading tools that anyone will be able to pick up, okay? But you definitely will, because you've got me showing you how it works, and it's going to be fine.